Sophia podcast with our producer, Matt Stoker. I am Michelle Welch, your host.
And I'm Roger Welch. So, what's up today, Michelle?
I'm very excited. We have with us a friend and a famous author
Willie Nelson.
and speaker.
Willie Nelson.
No,
Oh,
and,
are you
much
sure?
more famous than Willie. No, very, very, very famous to us and famous in the. I'm going to let her explain the witchcraft community, what part of the pagan witchcraft, her to give her terminology to that. But she has written, I believe now this is your second book, and we're going to talk about her second book tonight. But it's Madame Pamita, and where did we meet first?
You met her originally at Newt's year before last, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that right,
Right?
Pamita? Yes. Okay.
Yes,
So,
we met at Newt's. We met at Newt's, and it was a Kismet Love Fest because we're both cancers, and we just I was with my friend James Devine, and we met you, and we just fell in love with you guys. So it's been a love fest ever since.
so, um, Madam Pamita and I always want to say Jim or James Baker. I get it wrong, but it's
Break. Jim.
Jim. But I grew up with that preacher. Remember, not with them, but it was famous. And
Jim Baker?
Jim Baker
With
remember?
his big foof hair?
Yeah, but that's not
Yeah.
our Jim. That's not our Jim.
Not the same Jim.
Not the same Jim. So,
A little bit opposite spectrum.
but back to Madame Pamita. She, the first book, I actually was a fangirl before I ever met you. I met your Madame Pamita Tarot book, and you guys, we carry that in the store, and we've carried that. I think we are out of stock right now. And then Madame Pamita's new book is the Book of Candle Magic, Madame Pamita, and it's candle spell secrets in to change your life. It is a purple book. She has it there. Look how beautiful, purple with gold leaf, and it's a hardback book, which is a big deal. It's published by Llewellyn worldwide, and I know that when Pamita was helping me with something on my book, she was like giving a mentor, giving me advice, and she found out it was going to be in hard copy. And I remember how excited you were because that is a big deal. And that's such a beautiful cover. That's one of the prettiest covers of a book I've seen in a really long time. And I'm picky about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that this book is beyond, because I made some good information, and I always thought this is going to be an amazing reference for people to do candle magic. This is going to be, help them with a reference to like look things up, not just recipes. It's not a recipe book. It's a book to teach you how to create your own spell from scratch. So it breaks it down for you. Candle color, numerology, astrology, all of these elements that you can put into a candle spell. So it's a reference book. Mm-hmm. And so I had no idea when I created it that they were going to make a hardcover book. I just gave them the manuscript and then gave them some kind of guidelines. I like old timey things. I like things that look like Victorian things and all of that. And then they came back to me with this gorgeous, beautiful plum colored hardcover book with the gold and silver foil on it. And I was just, it was like above and beyond my wildest dreams of what this book could be. And because it's such a reference book, how gorgeous that it's a hardback book so that you can keep it on your shelf. It'll stick around. It won't get dog-eared and like a paperback book would.
I love it that you give the tools and all those different references for people to make their own spells, because one of my first and utilize it in the way they want instead of just following everyone else's recipes, because that way they really put their flavor in it, right? And their intention.
Exactly. I mean, I think you can't really know the every single detail of what someone's spell is. I think I've discovered this in doing spell work for people, advising, teaching, and so on, that everybody's wish or desire has a little unique twist to it, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you want, let's say, you can say a bunch of generic love spells, but maybe one person wants a super hot, passionate fling, and another person wants a real committed partner. Those are two different spells with two different intentions. So you can't just give them a love spell. You have to customize it in some way. So this book, instead of just giving you a bunch of recipes that would just be like, well, maybe this will work in my, for my intention, will actually teach you and show you and be a reference for you to go, okay, well, what day of the week do I want to start my spell, or what phase of the moon, or how can I use astrology to help my spell, or how can I use herbs to help my spell? I mean, one of the things that it's very interesting, I had other authors read the book ahead of time and give their reviews so that I could use their quotes to help promote the book. And comment after comment again and again that I have gotten from people is that they found one of the most useful parts, that they comment on this part of the book that I didn't think was, I kind of thought of it as like an extra. I didn't think of it as like such a centerpiece, but they've commented on the appendices in the back, that I have an appendix for herbs, I have appendix for gemstones, I have appendix for shells, I have appendix for talismans that you can add to your candle spells. So you look up something like a business prosperity, and it'll list the herbs that you can use for business prosperity. So you can look up those special customized things, even that in the back. They say like that alone is worth the price of admission.
I would say yes. I think that'll be great to have. And I think because most of the things that are out there are those recipe spell books, and not to knock those books, but there was a need for this book for sure. I know because we buy them for the store, the stores, and I know you've bought for your store and things like that too. So you know that there was a need in the market for this, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I want to empower people to be able to make a spell from scratch themselves. It's like taking the difference between a real cook, a real chef, and a person who just follows a recipe in a book or makes pancakes with Bisquick, It's a very different thing making a recipe than it is being a chef. A chef can go into a fridge and grab a handful of this and a pinch of this and throw it in, and they know exactly what to do. And that's what this book is designed to empower the person who has it to do, to be able to become a chef. And rather than there's a few recipes in there that I give as examples, but its real power is in that it teaches you, instead of saying light a pink candle on a Friday under a waxing moon for a love spell, you can break it down. Why are you using a pink candle? Why are you doing it on a Friday? And why are you doing it on a waxing moon? You will understand that, so you can actually reverse engineer any of those recipes that you see and understand why they're telling you to do that. So it's unique in that way.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So now I know we were kind of chatting before. How much is the book, first of all? If that was my shocker on this, I forgot it's really inexpensive for what you get on this book.
$18.99. It's the same price as a paperback.
And because Michelle's telling me, remember when we first was pre-ordering these books, it's $18.99. I'm like, you mean our cost is $18.99? That's cheap. And then
because I think I ordered 10 before, and then I think I just ordered 10 like yesterday. So I think we're gonna have 20 when 10 for each store. Maybe more than that. Then they pre-ordered, and he was like, "Well, that's a lot of hardbacks, Michelle." And I was like, "Check the price." I mean, so
for what you're getting,
it's a great price.
Yeah, it's a great price point for what you're getting, and you can promote it. I mean, you can order some other different places, but we got it. You can order directly from Pamita.
So let's speak to that, just to those of you who are listening. And Madame Pamita, of course, it's your book, so you can chime in. But I'll say from a store owner's viewpoint, any of you who have pre-ordered, and I know some of you have because you're fans of Madame Pamita already, and you're friends of Soultopia. So I've seen these comments, like I pre-ordered the book and it's not in yet, and it said October. That's, it's just like everything else right now. Some things are a little bit behind schedule because of workers and everything else that's going on in the world right now with, unfortunately, with people being ill or whatever the case may be with COVID. Things are just a little bit slowed down. So just be patient. It is coming, and you'll just be that more excited when it gets here, right, Madame Pamita? Is that what you're...
100%. It's like, it's going to be worth the wait. We were told that it was going to be, the release date was October 8th. And, I got my copy, it's like a pre-press copy, but the copies that are for everybody aren't out yet, but they're going to be worth the wait. And I have been telling everyone to buy from you guys, all of you small mom and pop shops. I've been really encouraging people to pre-order from the mom and pop shops, because I say, look, you're going to triple your karma by doing this. Number one, you're going to get an amazing book that's going to teach you from soup to nuts everything you need to know about candle magic. So you're going to benefit. Number two, when you buy it from, if you buy it from Amazon, I'm not saying don't buy it from Amazon, but if you buy it from Amazon, you're just making Jeff Bezos another $1 billion.
Exactly.
I think he has enough billions. I think he's okay. But if you buy it from a mom and pop shop, you keep those in little independent bookstores, those little independent spiritual stores alive, so that when we get out of pandemic, there's a place for me to come and teach. There's a place for me to come and do classes. There's a place for me to come and do readings in Dallas. So if you want me to come to Dallas, buy it from Soultopia, so that Soultopia sticks around, so that there's a place for me to come and see you.
So we can bring her back. Yeah. Because she's been, right? And we are,
right?
And we're going to go ahead and announce that we're going to have her back. We're working on something, you guys. It's in the works already to bring her back, but maybe even something before then, right?
Yep.
We'll catch her.
We were talking about that. Roger and I were talking about that.
We'll catch her in between projects, even though I'm sure she already has about 10 more started, right?
I'm working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. It's a little cuckoo right now, but yes.
Okay, so are you open to a couple of questions from some of our listeners? Because someone
Of course, yeah.
So Kelly said, I've heard some rituals require you to do several days in a row, and this is specifically candle magic is the question I asked them if they had any questions for you. To do several days in a row, does it matter if you do it during the day or night? So I think what she means by that is do you have to keep it going all night long, or if you're gone during the day, does that matter?
Well, I think the very, very first thing I preach is safety with candles, because I have burned so many thousands of candles. Now, most of them, vast majority of them go fine, no problem. But you get that one that has exploding glass, or the dish explodes or catches on fire. You get this huge bonfire in your room. So I always encourage people to burn their candles when they're awake and they're at home. If you leave the house or you go to sleep, snuff the candle out. That doesn't mean you have to have your eyeballs on the candle the whole time, but you should be awake and aware so that you can keep tabs on it, right? If you smell something or hear something. I mean, I've been in another room and I've heard an explosion in the other room. I've gone in there and seen a glass explode, a glass candle explode. So you want to be awake and aware. So you can put your candle spell on pause by snuffing the candle out and then relighting it again when you come back. And that's a beautiful way. So don't blow it out, but snuff it out when you go to sleep or you leave the house. Now, if you're doing a spell over several days, sometimes you have a spell that you want to do a certain number of days, or, you have some plan for it. That's fine. You just snuff it out. You give it, if it's, let's say, for example, a 7 knob candle, that's one of the ones you have up there. You're going to burn one knob each day. And when that one knob has burned, there you go. Michelle's holding it up. There you go. Each of those knobs, you burn one each day. And as soon as you burn that knob, you snuff it out, and you're done for the day. So if you're burning you might pick, now I would say in general, it doesn't matter if you burn it day or night. If you're like, you have a interesting schedule with work, your, work schedule fluctuates and you can't be there at a certain time, like that's your plan, that's okay. You can burn it day or night. It doesn't matter. But if you can add something to your candle spell through numerology. And I talk about this in the book. So if you want to bring in some extra support for a certain intention and you're interested in numerology, you can bring in numerology. And let's say you want to light your candle at 3:33 every day, or 2:22 because you're doing a love spell, or you're doing an empowerment spell, you do it at 1:11. So these are the kinds of things that you can bring in. It's not a must. It's not required. Lots of spells don't use it. But if you are interested in that and you kind of want to bring in that support, you can. So there is no must that you must light it at a certain time of day, or that you mustn't light it at a certain time of day, but you can. Now, there's another one thing I want to bring up in terms of the times of day. There are certain special times of the day: dawn, noon, dusk, and midnight. Those are 4 very special times of the day. Now think about it. If you're doing something that you're bringing in something new, you want to have a fresh start, you light your candle at dawn. If you want to build the power of your spell in terms of visibility, like the sun energy, you can light it at noon. If you want to get rid of something or close a chapter on something, you can do it at dusk. And if you want to do some very secret magic, some very powerful magic, some very witchy magic, you can do it at midnight. So those are some other very, very powerful times that you can use.
good.
But those are options, not a requirement.
Very useful, though.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
So of all the different types of candles, I mean, we put a few up here. Do you have a favorite type you go to? It's like your go-to, I love this 7-day, or like what do you like to burn?
Well, I like what I call figural candles. And I see you have a few there. You have the bride and groom, and you have a skull and crossbones candle. I like figural candles because I'm a very visual person. And so I like to bring in symbolism. You know, I guess as a tarot reader, Michelle's going to understand this. We like symbols, right? We want to bring in those symbols that connect us to something, right, Michelle?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So when we have a candle that has an image of some kind, to me, that speaks to my heart more. So like, you know, if I could light, let's say 2 taper candles to do a marriage spell, there's no problem with that. That's, you know, 2 plain old candles like you have on a dining room table. You could use those 2 taper candles to represent a couple, but when you have one that looks like a man and looks like a woman, or looks like a couple or something like that, to me, it sort of evokes something more for me. It gives it a little more power. So those are the ones that I personally like. That's the ones I like to work with the most. So, but I like them all. So that's just me and my preference, because Roger made me pick my favorite child.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is from Carrie. What, we're just going to fire away because I know you can handle it. What candles would you use for ancestor connection?
Beautiful. Well, first of all, if you're going to do an ancestor altar, what a lovely, lovely thing is to have a glass encased candle. You know, those glass encased candles, what I call vigil candles. Some people call them sanctuary candles. Those candles that you have, sometimes people call them novena candles or 7-day candles. Those ones that you have in the tall glass cylinders. When I was a kid, they didn't really have a name for them. We used to call them Catholic church candles because I went to Catholic church, and that was what you saw in the Catholic church, right? So I like those for ancestor work, because when you're doing an ancestor work, you're kind of keeping something going. You're not just working with your ancestor like that day and then never talking to them again. It's like you want to build that relationship, and you want to kind of honor them daily. So having a candle that you can burn over a long time, it's different than a spell candle. Spell candle, you want to burn it, and you want to burn it completely. But a candle that you're using to, let's say, honor a deity, or to petition a saint, or to connect with your ancestors, I think those candles, it's good to have something that you're going to burn steadily every day over a long period of time. So a bigger candle is better in that case.
Right.
And so those glass encased candles, now what's beautiful about that is you can do a lot of customization. If you have photographs of your ancestors, for example, you know, grandma and grandpa, or great grandma and great grandpa, you can go onto your computer, scan those pictures, print them out on sticker paper in your printer, and then put them on your candle, so you can make a customized vigil candle that's just for your ancestors.
Great idea.
What a beautiful tribute that is to them. You know?
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, and she said color. So color. So we're talking about the type of candles. Forgot.
Well, she did both. Yeah.
Total off track.
No, she asked both.
Oftentimes we look at white candles as being the universal candle. Also, white candles are often used to connect to spirit. But if your ancestor maybe had a special color, or they, you know, maybe had, you knew what their favorite color was, you might want to pick their favorite color. If you don't know what their favorite color was, you can always use a white candle, because a white candle is good for kind of universal anything. Yeah. Plus, white candles can be very good for connecting to spirit.
Very good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And I know along with that question about the ones encased in glass, Carlton asked, he uses permanent marker on the outside. Is that he didn't say is that okay, but did he say, do you have a better recommendation? I'm sure what you just said, you could print out something, but is the permanent marker a good idea? Is I guess what he wanted to know, to write on the outside.
Yeah, permanent marker is interesting, because permanent marker on glass isn't permanent. If you use a Sharpie on
Exactly.
glass, you can still wipe it off because of the glass. What I find to be better on glass are paint pens. So those ones that you shake and you kind of have to stick them in and out, and then paint comes out at the end. They're a little bit different.
Yeah.
They're metal and they have a little ball inside, and there's paint that comes out. Now, if you use those can work very, very well on glass and be more permanent than quote unquote permanent marker on the outside. And you have a lot of color choices, and you can decorate, and you can use color magic in addition to the color of your candle. So let's say you have a pink candle for love. You can use a red paint pen to add some, passion and excitement to that relationship. Or, if you wanted to, let's say, open the door to that relationship, you could use an orange paint pen to add that opening energy. You can write words, you can draw sigils, you can draw symbols, you can draw images. I mean, if you're an artist, you can draw real images. You can do so much with that and really customize that glass in that way. So I think that kind of opens up the door to there being anything rather than the screened candles that are already with a picture on it, which are fine. No problem with that. But when you customize it yourself, you put your energy into it, it's going to have more power, just to be honest. If you put your energy into it, whether it's drawing, writing, doing something, customizing it, dressing it with oils, all of that puts your energy into it, which is just going to be a stronger spell.
Did you have anything else? Or do you want me to-
everybody blew up about that one. Everybody loved it. But Jim says you got to have glitter glue pens also.
Oh, so Jim's on here. Me
Yeah, he
calling
just
him
hopped
Jim
on.
Baker. Tell him I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Big Jim Baker there.
But you know what? Jim Barker is, I consider him a little bit my pastor because he's given me the best pastoral advice that I've received in a long time. And it's when we all went to dinner.
He's always good with advice.
So, like really good.
Solid advice?
Yeah, it was
Help
stuff
you
I
out.
needed to hear that I needed to make amends on something. And he was kind how he said it. So actually he is very, if y'all, he's just a wonderful person.
James
I'm
the Divine.
I'm going to throw you for a loop, Michelle. He's altered his name. His professional name is now James Divine. So you're never going to remember it now
I
because
think
you've got through so many.
Now I can maybe remember that because he is divine. And so is it James Divine or Jim Divine?
James. That's what he put on
James
there.
Divine, but you can
James.
still call him Jim, but he's professionally
James.
going as James Divine. Like you can call me Pam, even though I'm Madame Pamita, you can call me Pam. So,
Same
thing.
James, you know, it took me with judges that I'm good friends with, like really good friends with. It took me, one of them is one of my best friends, and I would still say, Your Honor, or Judge so-and-so, won't say her name. And it took a year, and finally and a federal judge did this to me years ago that I was friends with. Finally, they got almost a little mad at me. They were like, stop, it's irritating me. Just call me by my first name, please. But I'd always just was so respectful, I'd call them by, their Your Honor or whatever. I was just raised that way. But now, James Divine, I've got it, right?
Yes, James Divine. He said it's fine to call him whatever, except late for dinner. So I'm going to have some really good names later. I'll post those on Facebook. Give me a day to think about some good ones to post for James.
Mine will all be nice because
Jimbo.
I got good. Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Okay,
Jimbo the Divine.
I have a good question for
Jimmy.
Pam. I've got a great question. Okay, so I'd like to know, this is from Kathy. I would like to know Madame Pamita's theory. It says on how a candle melts. Is it specific or open to interpretation? Can you interpret that question? You know what she means?
I love this question.
Okay, great.
Yes. I have a whole section in my book. I'm telling you, this book has every single piece. I downloaded every single thing I knew and beyond about candle magic. There's no secret held back. There's nothing that I held back for book 2. There is not going to be a book 2 maybe there will be, but I don't know what it'll be about.
Never
because
say never.
I put everything into this book.
Right.
and this book has a whole section on capnomancy, which is reading the smoke, pyromancy, which is reading the flame, and ceromancy, which is reading the wax. After your candle is finished, you can read the wax to see like a feedback. Just like you get a divination with a pendulum, or if you do a divination with the cards to see what's going on with your spell. What else do you need to know? So you can look at the wax remains and see what it is that your next steps are. Or is everything great and you don't need to do anything else? Or do you need to put your energy in one area rather than another? It is a beautiful art. And there's a whole section about that. So I think that answers the question. Can you read the wax? Absolutely. And I talk about it all in the book.
What if you had a wick? Now our candles are good candles. I know you sell good candles. What if somebody got a candle from a certain place and it was, the wick's like this, and so it stops burning, it goes out because, it's not all the way down to the bottom of the candle. Do you take that into account in your reading, or do you say, okay, the wick wasn't done right? Or do you say, no, that's part of my reading and that's part of the way I read the candle and what's going on with the candle?
That's a great question.
What do you do?
Well, here's what I say. First thing, you have to know what a typical burn is, and you have to look for things in the material world that may be influencing your candle before you start going into what this candle means, right? So for example, if your candle flame keeps going out, that's not a good sign. But the first thing I would look for, is there a draft in the room? Did I leave a window open? Is there somebody in my house that could have blown out the candle? I'm going to look for a material, real world thing first before I start making an interpretation. So if I get a candle that's poorly made, I'm not going to buy from that candle maker again, that's for sure.
That's called the dollar store.
If I get a candle that's poorly made, then I'm going to look first at what is this a candle issue, like a physical issue, or is it something mystical? Okay. So a candle that's poorly made is a candle that's poorly made. It's not an issue with your spell. Some people might say, well, you picked that candle in particular, but a lot of times you don't pick the candle. You don't know. So I would say, let's say in your example where the wick was all wonky and it burned all crazy, I would try another candle of the same type of candle to see if it happened again. I would do that thing again just to see, was it the candle? If I was unsure, was it the candle or was it me? Okay. Right? So if your candle keeps going out, or if your candle has some issue where it doesn't light or you lose the wick, if you're not sure whether it's the candle or you, just do that spell again with a new candle and see if you get a different result. If you get a different result, then go with that better result rather than the one that may have been off because the candle was off.
That makes sense.
If you get the same result again and again, try maybe a different candle maker and see if you still get that same result. And if you're still getting that same result, then it's a message for you.
Good point.
Now, I say this for people that are beginners because you don't know how a candle's supposed to burn. I have burned thousands and thousands of candles for myself and clients and so on. So I know what to look for, and I know when there's an unusual burn, and I know when there's something unusual going on. So I pay attention to those unusual things. Most candles burn typically, and a typical candle burn is a fine candle burn. But if something is atypical, something's off, I can see, and I'll know from experience whether it's the candle or whether it's an issue with the spell work that you're, a feedback on the spell work. I'll say that.
Okay.
I see a lot of them, especially the glass candles like this one, and they pack it full of just herbs and crystals. There's not enough room in there for the wick to really get to going. It's a candle.
Pet peeve.
It's not a bowl to pack full of herbs. Okay, it's a candle.
Yes.
So leave just a few,
this
little
is
bit
my
of
pet
herbs.
peeve.
Yeah.
My pet peeve is that people think more is better, more oils, more herbs. If I want a really strong spell, I'm going to pack it in. One of the things that, in a different topic entirely, but when you're using oils, I have to use a lot of something, right? So rose oil, real rose oil is expensive. It's hundreds of dollars for a tiny bottle, right? Because it takes 60,000 roses to make the essential oil of the Bulgarian roses, right? So the rose otto. Now, you could bathe yourself in a whole bath and it would cost you millions of dollars. Fill up a bathtub with rose otto. It's not going to do anything more than a drop of that rose otto. So for people that are saying like more is better, it drives me kind of crazy because you're just bringing in the essence of that flower. You don't have to bring in gallons of that thing. So in the case of candles, I see these gorgeous, beautiful, don't get me wrong, they are absolutely beautiful, Instagram worthy candles on Etsy that are piled high with plant matter, dried herbs and things. And I'm like, you know what's going to happen to that candle is at the end of the candle, it might burn fine, but when you get to the very end and all that herbal matter is at the bottom, you're going to have a big old flame, and then you're going to have a lot of black smoke. At best, you're going to have a lot of black smoke. At worst, your glass is going to crack. Yeah. And then the poor person doing the spell is going to think, oh my God, I'm cursed. Something bad is going to happen, and so on. That's why I say, look for the material thing first. Did you have a lot of herbs? Did you have too many herbs on your candle? Did you not trim your wick? Did you, have too much oil or adulterants in your candle that are making this black smoke? So before you start looking at like, oh my God, look to see that. I mean, I have had some gorgeous candles that have been beautifully made, but they had way too many herbs on them. Mm-hmm. So when you get a dress candle from me, you're going to see a tiny sprinkling of herbs. Yeah. It's not that Madame Pamita's cheap. It's not that I'm a cheap jerk. Right. It's that I want your candle to burn well. And I burned enough candles to know that it's going to be terrible if you have a big pile of herbs. Like Roger says, you're packing a bowl. That's not what we're doing. So, here.
And I did.
Willie Nelson braids aside.
Exactly. I had somebody, this is probably a year and a half ago, and somebody come in and their candle had burnt down, about most of the way, but it was all black on one side. Well, I knew who dressed the candle for that person, and I'm like, take another candle, dress it just a little bit, and, I kind of fixed it up, go burn it, and it literally burnt all the way down. It was clean, worked the whole way, because the person that had dressed it before for her basically, packed the bowl and just had everything in it, as much herbs and as much oils, as much everything as they could put in it, and then lit it. And there was nowhere for it to burn, and then it was just black coming through.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. I think if you're experienced like you guys are, you know this, but new people don't know this. And those ones that have, I've seen things with like crystals and plastic ornaments in them. I'm like, you're going to burn a plastic deer in your... toy deer in your candle. Oh my God, that's going to be a terrible, smoky, terrible mess.
And
they look gorgeous, but they're not good for burning.
And Lizzie, our youngest, she follows somebody on Instagram, like you said, the Instagram candle people. Yeah, and they do. They're beautiful candles. They're like the wax is totally crystal clear, except it has a little whatever green, red cast to it, and then it has all the stuff. But there's no way that burns well.
Yeah. Well, so
and then poor people. I feel sorry for people that do that as a spell, and then they go, "Oh my gosh, something's wrong. My spell isn't going to work," or something like that. I'm like, no, my darling, it's way too many herbs on your candle. That's what's going on. So that's why I say, look in the book, look for the material world issue first before you start jumping to a conclusion that something is magical or has spiritual significance.
Best advice ever.
So I'm sure this is in your book, and so I'll just read the couple of other ones. What kind of candles to use, like for instance, to sell my house, things like that. I'm sure that's in the book, with which color, those types of things. What if I use the wrong color? I'm assuming I know your answer to that. It probably is intention setting, but I'm trying to get through this so we can read. But I wanted to ask you real quickly. I'm sure this is in the the book too. But on these two, you want to ask the question, Roger, on these two? Let's
talk about multicolor candles and how to use and when to use.
You use like red and white.
Oh yeah, red and white.
So do you ever use the multicolor candles where it's red on top, black on the bottom, or black on top, white on the bottom? I've studied about what that meant a long time ago when people used those, but what do you think they're for now? And could you teach us just briefly about that? I'm sure it's in your book, but...
It's so good. Yes, I talk about this in my book. Like I said, there's nothing in this book. I think there's nothing anyone can throw me candle-wise that isn't something in my book that I can refer to. But we talk about color magic. Color magic is also one of my favorite parts of candle magic. When we talk about what's your favorite kind of candle, the other aspect of that is I love color. I mean, I'm just passionate about it. This is the artist in me, is that I love that. So different colors have different vibrations and can be used used for different spell work. Now, like I said, a white candle is kind of universal. If you can't find the color you want, or you're not sure what color to use, you can always use a white candle to kind of just cover all the bases, right? But if you have an option with color, you can actually choose colors that are going to support your spell work. So an easy one is like red or pink for love, right? Or green or yellow, gold for money, right? Those are ones that are pretty obvious, and most people would be able to kind of figure that out without even looking in the book. But when we get into 2-color candles, we get into something really exciting, because you can do a spell with 2 aspects. So like Michelle's talking about, the candles that have a black part half and then a colorful white, green, red, or another color half are meant to first burn through the negativity with that black. So you're banishing, reversing. Those are called reversing candles. They're called double action candles, jumbo candles, but they're reversing candles that you send back that negativity to its source with the black end. And then after that black part burns, you're bringing in and healing whatever part that you want. So if it's a red one, you're healing your relationship stuff. If it's a green part, you're healing your money situation. If it's a white part, you're bringing in blessings of whatever kind, right?
Excellent.
So when we have that black one and then the white bottom. Now, what's interesting is that at the factories many, many, many decades ago, they accidentally made them with the colorful part first and the black part second. Well, that doesn't make any sense. You don't want to bring in your love and then get rid of the curse or get rid of the negativity. You want to get rid of the negativity first, right? So you take that candle as a reversing candle and you make the bottom the new top, and you make the top the new bottom, and you turn it upside down. And that act of turning the candle upside down is also a reversing spell. So you're doubling up your reversing spell when you have to turn that candle around to burn the black half first. Now, they do now make some that are black on the top, already pre-made with black on the top and red on the bottom and so on. Yeah. But when you have that one that's black on the bottom, you can do this amazing reversing spell where you turn the candle around. And that work, that energy that you put into it by making that new top and making that new bottom adds to that reversing quality of it.
Oh, I love that.
Now, when you see a candle like that blue and white one, or the pink and, I think you had the pink and blue one that you were showing me earlier, pink and green. What was it?
Pink and green.
Oh, pink and green. Okay.
It's a watermelon candle.
You can reverse engineer what this candle can be used for. So what could a pink candle be used for?
Friendship, love, companionship, maybe friendship. I think pink is also, I'm just going. Those. I think compassion.
Perfect. What would green be good for?
Your turn.
My turn. Manifesting.
You're thinking money.
Money. But it's also, you manifest friendship and things into
I think heart chakra. I always go to the chakras. Yeah. I think love also on the green.
Yeah, pink and green is a heart chakra candle for sure. Yep. But imagine a pink candle, let's say for love, and a green candle for money. And if you do like a Reese's peanut butter cup and you bring those together, what could you do that pink and green candle for?
A sugar daddy.
Yeah, you got it, baby. You got it. Like, so you can take a candle.
Just sold all those candles.
All those candles are flying out this. And so
that's you're going to start marketing that at Soultopia as the sugar daddy, sugar mama candle, right? Come get the sugar daddy.
Get your sugar on with this candle.
I called it the Watermelon Tourmaline by Justin Bieber song because that watermelon, watermelon sugar. Watermelon sugar, not watermelon watermelon sugar. He wouldn't say what that song's about, and I don't want to know but that's probably what that is about. Embarrassing you?
Well, you can take any candle, and then when you break down what the colors can be used for, you can get very creative. So you could maybe have that be a sugar daddy, sugar mama candle. You could also maybe have it be, I want a job or a business that I really love, right? Yeah. That could be another use for that candle. Mm-hmm. So I love the 2 color combinations because it gets you thinking, how can I bring that chocolate and that peanut butter together and make something really good out of that? And when I see these interesting color combinations, I'm always like, what would I use that for?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and that sugar daddy's going to fly off the shelves. Here, I'm going to take
I already sold 2 of them.
I'm going to take that home.
Jim said he needs one.
That is James Divine.
Roger,
to
you better watch out.
That is James Divine, as far as you're concerned.
What happens
So
if I burn?
anyway, you can
What
take
if I
that
burn
white
2
glue
of
or
those
any
candles?
color and do that. Yeah, it's a fun way to play with
And
candles.
actually,
Yeah.
that's Sir James Divine.
Oh, my
Last
God.
time I checked, and Lady.
Did
Madame
he
Pamita-
actually? Wait.
Yeah, they did.
Did
They
you
really
buy
did.
that thing too?
They did.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
That's
Lady
all right.
Madame Pamita.
That's
she's
all right.
Lady
If you-
Lady Madame Pamita, and he's Sir James
That's all right.
Divine.
I bought my acre of land on Mars. I'm the emperor of Mars now.
When do I send you? All right. So do you
You
want to
just
go?
got to get up there to claim it. That's all.
I know, right?
So
I'm gonna call Elon and see if he can't get me on the next ship up.
he'll take your phone call straight away. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's light a candle for that. What
Yeah.
color combination?
Lord,
do
he
you
said
think?
Lord James Divine is how it's actually
Oh,
registered now.
Lord,
James.
not Sir. Okay,
No,
because
it's
I
Lord
was
James Divine.
I liked that Sir Elton John thing. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna do readings.
Oh,
And we're going to jump right in that because I'm looking at the time. It's 8:14, so we've got 1 minute. So,
you've never done a 1 minute reading.
okay. So, Madame Pamita, this is how we do it. Everybody that's listening is going to draw or think of a number between 1 and 3. So, if you're listening, or watching, it's number 1, 2, or 3. Think of that number now and lock it in your brain, and no changing. And then we're going to read, each one of us is going to read for you. And this reading will be for this next week, just what you need to hear for this next week, okay? And so Madame Pamita is going to be the first reader. Is that okay? She's going to be for all the number 1s. And Roger will be for the 2s. I'll be for the 3s and wrap it up after that. I do want to say before we start, just to get it on air, Madame Pamita's book is available Amazon. It's available at Soultopia. It's pre-order. It's a pre-order. Soultopia first, you guys, because we've ordered a lot. But Amazon, Madame Pamita, are you selling them too?
I'm selling them too, but here, if you want to make Madame Pamita happy, order it from Soultopia because I want to have a place to go to when pandemic's over and I can come and teach. So
Good.
if you want to really make me happy, it would make me happy if you bought it from me, but it'd make me happy if you bought it from Soultopia.
So it's
That's
available and probably by the time, I'm hoping we're getting them soon. Yeah. And so
and we'll have her and James
then
Divine back. And
you can check out Madame Pamita. Where's the best place for them to get a hold of you, Madame Pamita, if they wanted any?
Parlorofwonders.com. So it's PARLOUR. So fancy town.
That's it.
Parlorofwonders.com is my website. And that's me, the services that I offer, my shop, and literally a ton of free resources, videos, podcast episodes, blog posts, how-to guides, all kinds of free things that can help you learn how to make your life amazing.
And she is one of the people, you guys, that is very, very generous with her, with sharing her
information.
Her information. Yes, very, very generous. So let's support her with her book. You're all going to want it anyway. Did I not tell you that that's the book that it's going to be the only candle book we're going to carry because it's going to fly off the shelves. Okay, so because I won't say that. The other ones are okay. But it was time for a good candle book to come out. All right, so here we go. Madame Pamita, you're going to be first. We're going to do lightning round, kind of like a 1 minute.
One card?
One card, like maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute.
Okay. All right, here we go. Number 1, people that pick number 1. Oh, you got 2 of Pentacles. So 2 of Pentacles is saying that you have the ability to handle a lot this week. This is like the guy spinning all the plates. And the old shows back in the 60s and 70s, they'd have those guys spinning plates on stick and they would keep a ton of them going. You're able to juggle it all. You're able to do it all. And you're able to do it with grace this week. It's going to be a lot, but you can handle it 100%. That's what I have for you.
Mm-hmm. And Roger.
Is that fast enough?
That's great. You are incredible. Number 2, those of you who drew number 2.
Oh, I'm a number 2. How did I get number 2? You're always number 2. So I got the Temperance These are little bitty, Matt. I have to hold it way up. So I got temperance. Actually, the thing about this one is kind of that balance of things too. If you think about it, it's like going from one side to the other side and back and forth. 1 foot kind of wet, 1 foot on land. Keeping your balance, keeping yourself balanced, keeping yourself centered through the rest of the week, and actually, taking life just really one step at a time, and just bringing in good overall feeling for you through the week.
Just stay balanced. That's
Just
good.
keep it balanced.
It's really interesting that we all did sort of get cards about balance, because I drew the same card, or tile card. These are from Jamie Sawyer. You guys, I got the Madame Pamita. I don't know if you've seen these little tiles. They come in this beautiful box. You can have your own cards or things put on them, but
put your name on the back.
And your own personal logo on the back that Jamie Sawyer does. But can you say that, Matt? I got the same card as Madame Pamita. I got the 2 of Pentacles for all the number 3s. And so I will piggyback on Madame Pamita's, and I'll also say that that the balance, I feel like this week, just come into trying to catch your balance. I feel like maybe some of us we keep feeling like we're off balance. I feel like this coming week, try to get that center and focus to where, and I'm almost thinking of tree pose a little bit in yoga, and just try to really get grounded and centered more this week. And back also, just replay what Madame Pamita said, because I was thinking, yeah, that's it. I don't even really feel like it's choosing between money. I feel like it's more centering yourself in this earthly plane, right? Feeling present. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming in. And I'll tell you, I'm excited to get the books. And none of the publishers that we're ordering from are telling us that they're really slowed down. So, they're telling us the ones that are on back order. Your book is not one that they're saying expect a delay. So I'm hoping it's going to be coming really soon. We're going to manifest that. It's going to be here any time now. So you guys order the book, and give shout out to Madame Pamita. We're excited to have her do a class and come see us when everything's in a better state. And until next, thank you again, Madame Pamita. Until next time, you guys, that's it for this week. You can listen to SoulWhat on Spotify, the iHeart Radio, Google Podcast, iTunes, and of course by watching live on YouTube at Michelle Soultopia, and both of our Facebook pages, which are SoulWhat and Soultopia Holistic Boutique. Thank you for listening tonight to Matters of the Soul, where we discuss what kind of matters to our souls, and you as listeners get to decide what matters to your soul. Thanks for listening.
Good night, guys.